Hello everybody and welcome to my 50 subscribers special. In this video I am going to rate the top 5 Root 1 normal types. Now you must wonder, what does the phrase Root 1 normal types mean? Well, when I say that, I mean in every generation there is that one Pokemon you meet on the first route that nobody actually uses. I mean only the awful ones. Not the normal flying ones, not the good ones like Lillipup. I only mean the worst one from each generation. Imagine this. You are a Pokemon trainer. You are going to start your adventure. You are going to the first route. And then what do you meet? The most useless Pokemon ever. So, after 5 generations, there are 5 of these. In Generation 1, it is Rattata. Generation 2, Centrate. Generation 3, Zigzagoon. Generation 4, Bidoof. And Generation 5, Patrat. Now, of course, I'm not going to rate them for their first evolution alone. I am going to rate the whole Pokemon line, which basically means the 2 evolutions in each line. So, what are we waiting for? Let's go and discover which of these useless Pokemon is the most useful. Number 5. Patrat. First of all, let's look at the design. It is god awful. It doesn't even look like a rat, it looks like a chipmunk. Those demonic eyes, it looks like he wants to murder everything. Without the eyes, Patrat is just generic, but with the eyes, it is horrible. Watchog's design is not a lot better. It still has those scary eyes, and the design is still not very good. Now, stat-wise, Patrat and Watchog are actually the best of every other Route 1 normal type. Patrat has the base stat total of 255, and Watchog has a base stat total of 420, and he is tied for the best one. Watchog's best stats are attack and speed, and well, while the stats are divided pretty evenly, they are not very impressive still. And of course, the last thing I'm going to talk about in every lines is how many HM moves they can learn, because basically one of the most common uses of these Pokemon are for HM slaves. Patrat can only learn one HM move, and Watchog can only learn 2 of these, which makes them extremely unusable. Number 4. Centret. Now, design-wise, I never got what Centret was, but his design is pretty original and it's not bad. Ferret's design is also pretty good. Stat-wise, Centret sucks. He has the lowest stat base out of every other first evolution in this list, with a stat base of 215, 25 under the 4th place. That is just pathetic. Ferret, although, has a decent stat base of 415, and he comes up second from all the second evolutions of this list. Ferret's best stat is speed with 90, and his second best stat is HP with 85. And basically, his stats are divided decently, but again, it's not very good. And of course, HM slavery wise, Ferret and Centret are tied at second best. Centret can learn 2 HM moves, and Ferret can learn 3 HM moves. Overall, it's a pretty decent Pokemon, but the reason I put it on 4th place and not higher is because, well, when you come to the first route in Johto, you can encounter 4 Pokemon. One of them is Rattata. And well, if you can encounter another Pokemon on this list, and well, it is pretty pathetic that you are not the only pathetic Pokemon on the route, and you actually have competition. What does that make of you? Shame on you, Centret. Shame on you. Number 3. Rattata. Design-wise, Rattata, as expected from a Generation 1 design, has the most generic and basic design ever. It basically looks like a rat, with purple, but it is a rat, and nothing else. And then Raticate's design is very generic again, but it's not bad. Rattata and Raticate are pretty simplistic Pokemon design-wise, but I never said there is something wrong with that. Stat-wise, Rattata has the second best base stat out of all the first evolutions on this list, with 253. And Raticate is mediocre with third best base stat with 413. Although it has mediocre base stat, Raticate has one of the best stat distributions out of all these Pokemon. His speed is the second best out of this list with 97, and he has decent attack with 81. Now, of course, when I say decent, I mean comparing to this list. HM slavery wise, they both suck. They end up in the last place, tied with Patrat and Watchog, with Rattata learning 1 HM move and Raticate learning 2 HM moves. So yeah, basically Rattata and Raticate are both decent. Raticate is mid-usable in-game. It's not the best, it's not the worst, and that's why it takes the third place, the middle, in this list. Number 2, Bidoof. Why the hell would I put this abomination on the second place? Well, you'll see. Design-wise, he is pathetic. Not as much as Patrat, of course, but he is just the most generic, happy-looking Pokemon. I don't know, he just doesn't look good. And of course, Bibarel doesn't look extremely well also. Stat-wise, they are both mediocre in this list. Bidoof has a base stat of 250, and he is third, and Bibarel has 410, and he is last, actually, on this list. He has the weakest base stat of all. His best stat is the attack stat with 85, and his second best stat is HP with 79, and basically his stats are shared nicely. So basically there is nothing special about this Pokemon. Why would I put it on second place? Well, it is the only Route 1 normal type to become a dual type. Bibarel is a water normal type, which makes him a bit more special. And not only special, also useful. And now we come to the HM Slave category. While Bidoof can learn 2 HM moves, and he is tying for first, Bibarel can learn 7 HM moves. That is ridiculously useful. This guy is absolutely the most useful HM slave ever, and that is why he gets second place on this. Number 1, Zigzagoon. First of all, I think Zigzagoon has the most unique design out of all these Route 1 normal types. It is pretty basic. It is a raccoon, but with a zigzag pattern on its fur, and that is pretty cool. And then Linoone has a pretty cool concept and design too. It is still a raccoon, but now it had a line pattern on its fur, which is also pretty cool. Stat-wise, Zigzagoon is 4th best with 240 base stat, but Linoone has 420, and he is tied on the first place with Watchog. HM slavery-wise, they are tied for second best, with Zigzagoon being able to learn 2 HM moves and Linoone being able to learn 3 HM moves. Now, the reason they are on the first place is not only because they are totally decent and they have the best designs, to my opinion, is actually because they are useful, and not only for HM slaves. You see, Linoone's best stat is speed, and he has 100 in that category. It is obviously the best speed stat out of all these Pokemon. The rest of the stats are shared evenly for Linoone, and it makes for a pretty balanced Pokemon. And well, that's basically it. Linoone has good stats, it has a good design, and it is very usable, which is not a trait shared with all the rest of these Pokemon. So yeah, my first place in this totally useless list of useless Pokemon is Zigzagoon Linoone. Thank you guys for watching, and you can certainly hope that on the 100 special subscribers, you'll see a bit more important list. Ha, just kidding.